The first question is, how do you go from hustle mode to running a business? In other words, where you're not hustling all the time, you've got your business working for you. And then there's a follow-up question that is related to this. What is the quickest way to go from hustle to making passive income in your business? So I'm going to answer that question first. There is not really a thing as passive income, unless maybe you have a trust fund and you have someone else managing that money for you. I don't know. I don't have a trust fund, but I'm kind of imagining. But at the same time, there's still someone managing that money for you. So there's really no such thing as quote unquote passive income. That's a myth. That being said, there's leveraged income, there's scalable income, and there's systematized income. Lots of different ways for you to essentially have what it is, the main feel that this question is asking for, with the main idea, which is how do I be able to make money in my business without having to trade my time for money and without having to work nonstop. Yes, let's have a great work ethic. Let's do really great work, but let's also not have to burn ourselves out or work nonstop to be able to make revenue and grow our businesses. So I want to first clear that up right away. Now going back to the first question, how to go from hustle mode to running a business. So that's the whole principle of this course and really everything that I talk through, which is that a business is something that works for you. It has systems, you have other people helping you out, and it's really something that you could step away from your business, not show up for, let's say, today or however long, and your business would continue to run. So it doesn't need you to continue to grow and make sales. Otherwise, what you have is a freelancing gig or a job, no matter how highly paid that it is. And so personally, with an online business like this, where you're teaching your skills, your experience, your knowledge, by far the best way to do this is to put your knowledge into a digital course. Just like I'm doing in this course. Now, you don't start out there most of the time because you have to learn how to, even when you know what it is you're teaching and coaching on, you have to learn how to market it, how to sell it, who your audience is, what questions they're going to have, how they're going to learn, how to be the best coach and teacher possible for them, all of those things. And really, so the best way I like to think about it is to start out coaching, trading your time for money and working privately with clients. Then to transition into group coaching where you're essentially you take the content that you've created for your private coaching clients, which ends up being your course, by the way. So everything you're doing is feeding into the future. I want to make that really clear. So you're doing that, and then you are turning it into a group program where maybe you add more content to the course itself, and it becomes just a freestanding piece of core content or content pieces of content. And then you still have the support from you or from a program coach, and people still get some support. And then as you just really test your content, you figure out what to add in to really help people be able to help themselves, you turn it into a self-study course like this. That's the process. Now, some people stop at different points. So maybe you decide to stop at point one, but instead you hire program coaches who you teach to or certify to with your process, and then you have them coach for you. And then because people are coming for your methodology, for your business brand, that program coach does the work. They trade their time for the money, but you still get the revenue from this without having to do the coaching yourself. Same thing for a group coaching program. You create the content. That's yours. You hire the program coaches, and then you let them trade their time for money. Or with courses, you basically do the work up front to build the knowledge and the expertise to be able to teach whatever it is you teach, and then put that into a course and let the course do the work for you. So those are several different variations of that. Then once you have your product and your delivery, and those, like I said, are the most common ones, you have to think about, okay, how do I get people to learn about, people who need what I have to offer, to learn about what it is that I have to offer and to buy. So that's where you think about your traffic generation systems. Are you going to be using paid traffic? Okay, great. You can outsource someone to manage that for you down the road. I'm always a fan of, especially in this type of business, learning everything yourself first. That makes sure that you understand what's going on. This type of business is not that complicated. You also make sure that you're not just trusting someone who doesn't care about your business as much as you do, because no one will, so that you can manage from an intelligent perspective of understanding, oh, I've done this before, okay, and ask better, more intelligent questions and manage your team better. And so you might outsource that. You might outsource someone to manage your paid traffic. And then you might have an affiliate manager connect with potential business partners for you, or you might have search engine optimization teams who create blog content for you, or who help you set up your YouTube channel, or who manage your social media. So you can have people do all of that for you. Again, I recommend you start out doing it all yourself and then test and play with, okay, what channels are working best for me? What channels do I best enjoy? And okay, when am I ready to outsource, if ever I want to outsource? Now, the final piece that you need is a system to sell your product to people who find you after you generate the traffic. And with that, what that looks like is you've got maybe a sequence of emails. You've got maybe an automated webinar system. I'm a fan of all of these things. Or you have salespeople who are doing the sales for you. Again, you start out doing all of these yourself. Let's be very clear on that. And maybe you maintain doing your own sales calls for quite a while. I did that for quite a while myself. All of those things, but then you systematize that. Right? You systematize the sales calls, then you can outsource, or you have a systematic or automated, it's called a funnel, an automated sequence of pieces of content, like an automated webinar followed up by automated emails that people just can go through and see, so that you create the content once, people see it forever at their own pace, and that content, that upfront work you've put in, continues doing the work for you afterwards. So those are some of the most common ways to do it. And what you're doing is essentially you are setting yourself up to be able to have all of those pieces so that you can take the step back. Once you have those different pieces working for you, and then you have also like the customer support and all of those things, what you're able to do is let them work for you. You've created the different processes, you've systematized them, you have documentation for them. Again, all the stuff that I share with you in this course, and you've got the products down, you've put in the upfront work to make that happen. And so usually when you're in hustle phase, you're not only doing the beginning things, you're learning how to systematize it. You don't start systematizing anything from day one. You have to first learn, okay, how do I speak to my clients? Where do I go find my clients? How do I teach them the best? Like, you have to test that first, right? Just like maybe in your career. You had to first, when you started out, learn all the things, took a little bit of time, and then maybe you got to a point where you were able to delegate. Or maybe you set up, for example, I started out my career as not the very beginning, I started out as an engineer, but then I moved to being an analyst. And that's a perfect example because I first had to learn how the business worked and what I needed to do and the reports I needed to set up. And then I figured out how to automate those reports, but I had to learn and do it manually first.